Welcome to Doors to Hope and Healing, an inside look at foster care and adoption needs in Connecticut. My name is Jacqueline Ford. I have had the honor of working for the department for close to 30 years, and although I may be familiar with many of the topics I bring to you, I have invited experts in those fields to help dispel the myths and misconceptions that often act as barriers. Join us as we open our doors to an inside look at the Department of Children and Families. Welcome to Doors to Hope and Healing. Thank you all for being here today. So we have with us Victoria, who is a master's level student from Southern. Yes. And we have Lynn, who works for Walmart Corporation. Yes. And Hannah, who's a undergraduate student at UConn. Mm-hmm. And she's also here representing Confetti for Kids. Yes. So today's segment, we're going to talk about the different ways that people in the community can help us at the Department of Children and Families. Most of the time, people think that you have to be a foster parent or an adoptive parent or a respite provider to be able to help us, but there's so many different ways that people in the community can help. And that's either by being messengers, helping us to dispel those myths and misconceptions that are barriers, or it can be to help us fundraise or support our kids where all of their needs are being met, but then they have extra wishes or extra things that they would like to have that people in the community have come forward and helped us make that easy for us. So Victoria, I'm going to start with you. So you had reached out to me as a student at Southern and that you wanted to do something special for foster kids, some kind of a donation or a drive. And then we met and we talked and I learned something very special about you, and I learned that you had been a foster child yourself. So that was emotional for me because it showed me that, you know, that whole period of your life in your young to adolescence, your teenage years, that you still wanted to give back and help foster kids, and I thought that that was so endearing. Can you talk to us a little bit about, you know, your life, you know, where you're at right now and about college and...
Yeah, of course. So I came into care at the age of 9 years old. I was placed with some distant relatives where I stayed for several years. I had an experience when I was 16 years old that kind of stuck with me forever. I was speaking with the police officer that worked out of my high school. I was having kind of a difficult time in my life, and I just felt like as a child I wasn't being heard. I felt like I had no voice. I felt like nobody cared what I wanted, you know. And so I was just kind of voicing my frustrations to him, and he said, you know, maybe one day you'll want to be a social worker and you'll want to help change the system so that other kids like you don't have to go through this. And you know, I kind of scoffed at him and I was like, I'm not going to do that, like, come on. And even though I didn't want to be a social worker at that time, that moment kind of stuck with me forever. And after I finished high school, I started at Naugatuck Valley Community College. I initially started as a nursing major. I kind of knew that I wanted to help people, but it really wasn't the right fit. In all of my classes, I just kind of felt like I didn't belong, like it just wasn't right. And, you know, then I kind of started looking at the social work, like the human services area, and I was like, wow, geez, you know, all of these classes are so interesting to me, and I feel like I already know so much about them. And so that's kind of where I decided, you know, social work is for me, and that moment that I had with that police officer was really just kind of like, it just solidified that for me. And I've kind of thrown myself into it ever since then. And so now I'm at Southern Connecticut State, and I'm having a very rich experience thus far. It's definitely a challenge, but I am working to get through it.
So that was really a defining moment for you in talking to that police officer. I bet you if you could ever find him and talk to him about how impacting those words were that day and where you are now. So you're at Southern and you're in the master's program pursuing a child and family track?
Yes. Yep, that's the concentration that I'm currently under. I think I'm definitely going to stick with it. So far, I'm loving all of the classes that I have. I feel very challenged, and I feel like I'm learning a lot.
So what brought you into care when you were a young child?
There was substance abuse in my family, and some kind of neglectful and abusive practices going on there. It wasn't good for me. The school was kind of starting to notice that there was something going on, and they made a report.
And then you remained in care until you were
Until I was 16, where I moved to Vermont, and I was in care there for a little while, and then I just kind of aged out.
Well, I'm sure that the impact that you can make on children and families would be profound, given your own experience in our system and having experienced that childhood trauma and neglect and all those feelings of abandonment and moving around and being with different families. So I'm sure that you can impact that world greatly.
Yeah, I sure hope so.
When do you anticipate on graduating?
I will be graduating next spring, so spring of 2021.
And anything about your personal life that you can share?
So I am married, and I have a 2-year-old, and she is the absolute light of my life. I love her so much, but she teaches me stuff every day. I really like learning, or I really like using everything that I've learned in school, because I did study a lot of developmental psychology, and so I love kind of applying all of that with her. It's very good practice for me.
Hands-on learning.
Yes, absolutely. I would say in the last couple of years, my life has just kind of been crazy. My husband served in the Army, and so we lived overseas in Germany for 3 years, so that was certainly an experience in itself, but now we're back here and we're settled and moving forward.
Well, you're a beautiful example of resilience with all that you've been through and living such a stable and happy life right now, and with your own child.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I appreciate that so much.
You're welcome. So thank you. And we'll come back to you about the fundraiser that you're doing for foster kids in a minute.
Okay.
So Lynn, if you could tell us about yourself. So you and I connected because you work for Walmart.
Yes.
And you had wanted to donate, believe it was duffel bags for kids who are coming into care. So I know that there's a lot of talk in our communities, and the one thing that we've wanted to stop from happening is having kids leave their biological homes with black plastic garbage bags.
Absolutely. I know exactly how that feels.
Yes, and then in us talking, you had shared with me that you were a foster child, and I thought, wow, how powerful for you to be reaching out to us in your professional capacity and wanting to help foster children. So can you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, I was in foster care for 5 years, from the age of 13 until I aged out. And it was an okay situation. I was lucky enough to be placed with my sister, so I had that family connection. But other than that, it was a strange experience, to be in somebody's home that you'd never even met before. And so there was a lot of disconnect. You were kind of present, but not involved. But when I aged out, I left the state and moved up north to New Hampshire. And I got married. Aging out of foster care, they don't give you a lot of options. There's not a lot of communication. So as someone who grew up in the system, you don't really know what's out there. So I took the path of marriage, and I needed a job, and started at Walmart, and I've been there ever since. It's been 25 years.
Wow. And did you start at Walmart out of state, or were you in state when you?
I was in New Hampshire. I'm lucky enough to work for a company who gives you opportunities to work your way up, which, 25 years later, I've done a lot of different things. But the company itself allows the associates to reach out into their communities and do things through different programs. There's different opportunities to donate and volunteer and things like that. So I came up with this idea to see how many duffel bags we could get together, and through the help of Walmart, I was able to apply and get approved a grant, which purchased 300 duffel bags. And my associates in my store, we personalized them. They took their lunch hours and their breaks and decorated them, and then donated an additional $400 worth of merchandise to put into the duffel bags.
And what kind of things did you put into the bags?
For the smaller children, things like coloring books, teddy bears, blankets. For the older kids, I was more hygiene products, maybe some decks of cards, journals, things like that they could spend time doing. And then we were able to donate them to 5 different locations throughout Connecticut. So, and I can tell you that the offices that we donated them to, they were so welcoming and so thankful. It was a really great moment to be able to do that.
And I had heard a lot from those deliveries and how just grateful they all were to have the children be able to have a personalized bag that they can bring into this journey that they're taking with their own belongings in that bag as well, and not the garbage bags that had followed these kids for way too many years. So we so appreciate you doing that. And then of course your story and Victoria's story and your connection to foster care just makes it such a more powerful story, because it shows the empathy, and it also shows ways that you want to change the system. And like the police officer spoke to Victoria about wanting to be a social worker and impact change. You as a child and knowing about those black plastic garbage bags and coming up with this idea and the grant money to make that happen is you're executing change even after you've left the system. So I appreciate that. And we'll come back to you about what you're doing for the holiday. Hello.
Hi.
You've been sitting there all quiet waiting. So Hannah, you are a student at UConn, and what degree are you pursuing?
Human Development and Family Sciences.
And you'll be doing an internship with me next in January for the spring semester. So we're excited to have you in the Bureau of Communications. So you're here today to represent Confetti for Kids.
Yes.
So tell me about, I know Erin had started that. Erin couldn't be with us today. Can you talk to us about what Confetti for Kids is?
So Confetti for Kids was started about 3 years ago by Erin. I joined, I think, 2.5 years ago. Basically, our mission is to awareness and fundraising for the Heart Gallery in Hartford through you. We hold around 1 fundraiser a month to buy holiday presents and birthday presents for the kids in the Heart Gallery. It's nice because with the website we can see when kids come in and out and see who gets to be adopted and things like that. We've worked a lot on getting to know the kids a little better by their bios, to think of things that they would actually like to receive, because there's a lot of organizations that, buy all the necessities, things that there's always drives for, but holiday gifts and birthday gifts is something that people don't always think of. Just a small thing that helps make the child happy.
What's so nice about your organization is that the group members are reading the bios of the kids. So when the bios may say that they love horseback riding, then the birthday present they buy may be something to do with horses. So it's not that generic birthday gift that they're getting. They're getting something that someone has taken the time to get to know what their likes and dislikes are, and do that around that. I know that we had a holiday party last year where UConn, all the students from Confetti for Kids came, and they did activities with our kids. How was that experience for all the students?
I think it really solidified our mission, because we do a lot of outside work, fundraising, things like that. But to actually bring the presents to the kids and seeing them and talk to them really makes it feel like what we're doing is worth something. And it's also really nice just to have the kids all together and have them a fun thing for everyone to do together.
And you saw them open their presents and their reaction to them, so that was very nice. And I think birthdays, I know that Erin had shared that birthdays are so special and important to her, and she wanted to make sure that all of our kids in care were celebrating a birthday, because it is such a significant day in their lives, and it's so important to them and the people that are in their lives to celebrate them. So having this Confetti for Kids in our life at GCF has been wonderful. And I know that one of the ideas that you have is to do a pen pal, be a pen pals with our kids. So we're working on all the particulars.
Logistics,
the logistics behind that can get complicated, but we're working on that. So let's go back to you, Victoria, about your holiday gift giving idea. So you're looking to collect gifts for children who are in foster care, and you're doing a holiday drive?
Yes.
Can you hold up the flyer so
Yeah,
that our
of
viewers
course.
can see?
So this is the GoFundMe. This is for people that would like to donate funds to this, and I would use the funds to go and purchase toys. But we can also, if you wanted to purchase toys yourself and meet up with me, then that would be great as well. I got the idea for this I mean, mostly because I identify with the kids, you know, that this drive is for, but also because when we think of the holidays, we think of all of the family traditions that we do. So some people have their Advent calendars, some people make reindeer food and they go sprinkle it out there for, you know, Santa and the reindeers to come. I know a lot of families now, they do on Christmas Eve like a little box that has Christmas PJs and a movie and a book. And I just think it's important to remember that children in care don't necessarily have this, and they're missing out on their own family traditions. So this can be a particularly painful time of the year for them. And so I just wanted to do something to give back to these kids that have experienced so much in their short lives. And so if I could put a smile on one of their little faces, then I did my job. But yeah, if you would like to donate, please, you can give to this GoFundMe, or you can contact me at my email address, and that's going to be vpeira1104@gmail.com.
Perfect, perfect. And I hope you collect lots of presents for the kids. And,
Yes,
and
of
even
course.
if you collect just a few, you will be making a difference for those few kids.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Of
And we'll
course.
stay connected. So Lynn, what are you doing with your employees at Walmart?
Well, my position allows me to reach out to just about every store in the state. So I have a lot of connections with the associates. Most of our fundraising has been in our local Wallingford store, where I work with a great bunch of people. They're very generous. We've done small fundraisers for the last few months. We're all motivated by food, so we do bake sales, and we have soup and sandwich lunches. This Friday we're having a pasta lunch, so a lot of different things to raise funds for holiday gifts, again, for the kids. Just like Victoria said, it could be a very painful time of year for displaced children. So our idea was to do what we can. You know, we've raised a little over $700 so far, so
Wow.
you know, it feels kind of good. And we also set up a giving tree in our break room for our associates that just has different ideas, and for our associates, if they want to purchase things and just bring them in instead of, you know, the monetary values, things like that. So
That's great. And I know that you collected almost 90, I think, stuffed dogs.
yes, we have 90 stuffed dogs for the adoption event.
Yes.
At the end of the month, yeah.
So all the children that are being adopted for Adoption Day will benefit from having a stuffed animal
Yes.
that they'll be leaving
They're so
that day
cute,
with.
too.
So I can't wait to see them. So thank you very much. And before we end, if you can tell us, Hannah, if any of our viewers are watching and they want to help Confetti for Kids, how can they reach you?
So we have a Confetti for Kids email. It's actually just confetti spelled like confetti for kids at gmail.com. And we also have a GoFundMe that will connect through the email with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. So I appreciate all of you being on, and you are such beautiful lights in our agency, and based on personal experience and wanting to change the lives for kids, all of you. I'm so glad that I met each one of you, and by chance too, so it's a blessing for me. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And now I'd like you to meet Louis, a young man who is looking for his forever home. If you're interested in learning more about Louis, you can call 1-888-KID-HERO. Thank you.
Louis is someone that kind of presents as being shy. It takes a little bit for him to kind of open up in his willingness to share different things.
I like science, batting cages, ride their bikes, go to the beach and go swimming.
I think a family that's able to allow him to be outdoors.
Riding my bike, that makes me happy.
He definitely has an attachment to personal things, and that's really important to him. He's really good at building things. He's really good at helping with yard work. The ideal family for Louis would be a 2-parent household.
I would like a family that has a mom and dad and older brothers or younger sisters.
He would need somebody that is able to have the flexibility to be able to be home, and he's there to help with the transition after school. I think having a structured environment really helps him. I think for him to know exactly what's going to happen. So that new family is gonna have to be willing to be patient and be able to kind of go on Lewis's pace and be able to kind of allow him to just be him. He likes being able to be like the big brother, but he also, I think, would do good with an older child in the house so that he has someone to look up to. I think he needs a positive male role model in his life.
My important people in my life is my uncle, my aunt, my cousins, my sisters, and my grandma.
I think that they're really important to him. He really cares for them. He would love to continue having that contact. Lewis would need someone who has the ability to give him that positive reinforcement almost on a daily basis to kind of help build up his self-esteem and help build his comfort level in the home.
My idea of family will be love and care.
I have a story that needs to be told.
Before I was placed in foster care,
I learned through actions and inactions of others.
that I was not worthy of love,
That I was not worthy of love.
that I was not worthy of love or attention.
I learned that my needs
are not a priority.
As a result of that negativity,
I experienced insecurity.
I want to be accepted by society, but I'm unsure if I have that ability.
teach me through your actions.
Teach me through your actions.
Teach me through your actions that I deserve to be cared about
and treated well.
Don't make me feel as if I'm a burden. Remind me that I am here for a reason.
That I was brought into this life because I'm strong enough to live it.
I'm strong enough to live it.
I am strong enough to live it.
Show me that my presence is a gift.
Try
Try
to meet me where I am at.
Give to me without expecting anything in return.
Because I may be too hurt and angry to express appreciation when you're trying to help me.
But trust that one day,
One day,
One day,
I will remember that you gave to me.
That you gave to me in this way.
can you meet me where I'm at?
Let me be sad sometimes.
give me room to mess up and make mistakes.
because mistakes are opportunities.
To learn and grow.
By forgiving me, you teach me how to forgive.
Understand, there will be times I need space from all the voices.
I think that they know what's best for me.
What's best for me?
What's best for me?
Remember that I am not a paycheck. I'm a person. Will you meet me where I'm at?
Remind me that my past
My past,
My past
Does not define me.
does not define me.
help me learn to be helped.
Mentor my thoughts.
Encourage my ideas.
challenge my pushbacks. Laugh with me.
Cry with me.
Have fun with me.
Have trust in me.
Ask me these questions.
What are my dreams?
What is my purpose?
What are my talents?
How can I help others? Help others.
How can I help others?
Let me know that you're here to help me reach my goals.
And I will become empowered.
But first,
But first, you have to meet me where I'm at.
I long for community and to be connected.
Help me with my self-esteem.
and help with my other esteem.
Which is how I feel about and relate to others.
Show me how to see that I am needed in my community.
And the world. And see how I can make a difference.
See how I can make a difference.
See how I can make a difference.
You have this gift.
Share it with me.
Share it with me.
Share it with me.
Remember that I have lived a different life before I met you.
A life you may never understand.
I am not asking you to solve all of my problems.
Just help make sure
Just help make sure
I don't have to face my problems alone.
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 I am asking you.
I'm asking you.
I'm asking you.
I am asking you to meet me where I'm at.
Meet me where I'm at.
Meet me where I'm at.